Hi, welcome to Take 5, where we daily consider devotional thoughts from Oswald Chambers' book, My Utmost for His Highest. Today is February 26th, and the title of today's devotional is Our Misgivings About Jesus. The woman said to him, "Sir, you have nothing to draw water with, and the well is deep." John 4, verse 11. Chambers begins with wondering, have you ever said to yourself, I'm impressed with the wonderful truths of God's Word, but He can't really expect me to live up to that and work all those details into my life? Do you ever consider of yourself that you aren't able to live up to God's standards? Be ye holy, for I am holy. 1 Peter 1 and verse 16. As Chambers writes, when it comes to confronting Jesus Christ on the basis of His qualities and abilities, our attitude reflects religious superiority. We think His ideals are lofty and they impress us, but we believe He is not in touch with reality, that what He says cannot actually be done. We question as to whether God is really aware of how serious the situation or need is. This attitude of questioning God is what Chambers calls our religious superiority. When we make the call as to whether or not God can handle the circumstances surrounding us. At my worst moments, this is how I've sounded, so depressed because I've wondered if God can really take care of the matters that I'm in. These doubts which divert our focus from God is what Chambers addresses in 3 points for the remainder of this study. First, there is seed of doubt that is planted by others, particularly those who are not saved and walking by His Spirit. The Christian must be very careful to whom they listen and from whom they take advice, because the devil can well use others to pull us off track, as we see with Jesus calling down Peter in Matthew 16, verses 21 through 23. Second is misgivings within ourselves when we tell Jesus that our circumstances are just too difficult for Him. Chambers here brings up the focus first and the idea that Jesus hasn't anything with which to draw water, that He hasn't anything with which to help us in our situation. There are times of sizing up Jesus by saying, well, He's a great religious leader, a spiritual leader, but this is dealing with real life and not a spiritual matter. This is seeing Christ only as a church figure. Third, there is religious deceit. Chambers says, beware of exhibiting religious deceit by saying, oh, I have no misgivings about Jesus, only misgivings about myself. Religious deceit refers back to the garden where all sin began. Satan tells Eve, you will be like God, knowing good from evil. Genesis 3 and verse 5. This was the creation of man's thinking that he does not need God but can do all things on his own. It can be defined as garden mentality, that I don't need God, so I better toughen up and take care of things so that I don't look like some churchy person and have to call on a deity for help. The first paragraph closes with, our pride is hurt even at the thought that He can do what we can't. Chambers closes with that, my doubts spring from the depths of my own inferiority. If I detect these misgivings in myself, I should bring them into the light and confess them openly. Lord, I have had misgivings about You. I have not believed in Your abilities, but only my own. And I have not believed in Your almighty power apart from my finite understanding of it. Confess this to God and ask Him to fix this as well as whatever situation you are in. If you haven't yet read today's devotional from Dr. Chambers, I encourage you to do so, for it will enhance the time that we spend together. It's available free online. Also, if you have any questions or comments about today's study, please be sure to share those below as well. And be sure to share prayer requests as well. And now may God's grace and peace be ours as we seek to live our utmost for His highest. God bless you. Thanks for being here today. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye now.